Hi, I'm Al Rail. I'm a former corporate CEO who had a passion for developing leadership talent. That passion led me to neuroscience. Neuroscience as a way to understanding our brain, which is the first step to improving our thinking and improving our outcomes. I founded the Neuro-Fitness Center. Why the gym metaphor, you may ask? Well, just like changing any other muscle in our body, changing our brain muscle and overcoming years of negative thinking and impulse responses is going to take work, but that work is worth it. Now, like many of you, I'm #healthy at home. Like some of you, I'm I wish I got a haircut before all this started. Each of these videos are going to attack and address a certain aspect of the challenges what some of you may be facing now. In this video, we're going to talk about staying in control. Let me ask you some questions. Have you ever lashed out at somebody and really didn't know why? Have you ever found that change is really hard? Have you ever, made up imaginary stories or problems in your head, like the phone rings and your first reaction is, geez, I wonder what went wrong? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're not alone. You're like many of us. And I have one thing to say to you. It's not you, it's your brain. But you can take back control of your thinking. What's going on in your head that is creating these thoughts and these impulses to lose control? See, our brains create maps. Some maps are useful, some maps are not. These maps are formed by nature, our caveman or cavewoman brain. The primary driver of these maps is survival, to protect us, to keep us alive. Other maps are created by nurture, our life experiences. Let me tell you a little story. I had the privilege last year of going to my grandson's spring festival musical. Every grade was represented from preschoolers to 8th grade. Each grade was presenting 2 or 3 songs that they had rehearsed just for the grandparents. The auditorium was filled with grandparents, all feeling very proud, very loving, and very privileged that they could be there. The first group of preschoolers got up and did their act. And after their act, the principal got on the microphone and said, will the grandparents of these preschoolers please pick up your preschooler and bring them back to your seats with you for the remainder of the show. And as everybody's laughing and talking and walking down the aisle, I happened to catch a grandfather and his grandson. And as they got close to me, I heard them. And the grandfather was looking down at his smiling grandson and he said, Henry, you did a terrific job, but next time, take your hands out of your pockets. And in that instant, Henry's smile went to a frown because he was getting the message that he wasn't good enough. And that created a map. And that map, which said, Henry, you're not good enough, will probably be added on later in life by messages that say, you're not driving the right car, you don't have the right haircut, you're not wearing the right clothes, you're not tall enough, you're not thin enough. All of those maps, our nurture maps, our life experience maps, create these unbelievable impulses and reactions that we face every day. So nature and nurture create these powerful maps, but we can create new maps. We can override those maps. We can reprogram the thinking that we have and create new, more powerful, positive maps. If we just do one thing to start, recognize we are in charge of our brain, not the other way around. We are in charge of our brain. So now let's go to some brain lifters for what we can do to stay in control at this extraordinary time. The first brain lifter is called label your emotions. Now, what does that mean? Label your emotions simply means to put a specific label or word or feeling to how you're feeling right now. Add a word. Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling left out? Are you feeling disrespected? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling angry? What is that emotion? And get as specific as you can. Why does labeling your emotions work? Well, let's try to understand it by understanding what's going on in our brain. This is our spinal cord, this is our brain. This part of our brain is called our limbic system. It's our emotional part of our brain. This part of our brain is our prefrontal cortex. It controls rational thought and decision making. Clearly thinking all happens up here. When we lose our cool, we literally flip our lid. And the limbic system, our emotional response, is in charge of our actions and our behaviors. So labeling our emotion, or quite simply just getting ourselves to start thinking again, will dampen that emotional response, get ourselves thinking again, and put our whole brain to work for us. It will rebalance the blood flow in our brain and get ourselves into being able to think clearly. What is the next logical step that we need to do? Don't let your emotional brain control your thinking. Make sure you can engage all of your brain. And you do that by labeling your emotions. So when you put a label on your emotions, get as specific as you can. Sometimes you may want to ask yourself, if you really are struggling to find the right words, sometimes you may want to ask yourself a thoughtful question, like, what do I want to get out of this? What do I want to achieve right as next? And get yourself to rationally start thinking again. Or maybe you want to ask yourself just a simple question of yes or no. Is my thinking and how I'm feeling helping me right now? Re-engagement of your rational thinking prefrontal cortex will dampen your emotional response and get you thinking more clearly and more rationally moving forward. And as you're labeling your emotions, why don't you try to also feel what you're feeling? Let's say you say, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling really anxious and nervous. Okay, how does that feel to you? Notice if it has an effect on your body. Okay, does your heart start racing? Do your palms start sweating? Do you tend to kind of tense up, maybe make a fist? Notice the effect your emotions have on your body. Feel your feelings. It's another powerful way. Not feeling our feelings or dismissing our feelings is a way that people oftentimes, quote, numb out. When they refuse to feel how they're feeling, that's the first step towards potential self-destructive behaviors. People go, I don't want to feel what I'm feeling right now, so I'm going to go eat that half-gallon ice cream. Or I don't want to feel what I'm feeling right now, so I'm going to go online and shop for 5 new dresses. Or I don't want to feel what I'm feeling right now, so I'm going to go make friends with this bottle of liquor. All of those potential self-destructive behaviors start with a lack of feeling our feelings. So 1, label your emotion, put a word on it and get as specific as possible. And 2, try to feel that feeling and feel the effect it has on your body. The second brain lifter is to just breathe. Yeah, breathe. I'm going to ask you to do a little demo right now with me. I want you to take your 2 fingers and I want you to pinch the index finger of your other hand as hard as you can, and we're going to count to 10, but pinch it as hard as you can. Now what you probably notice during those moments of counting to 10, you stop breathing. When our bodies are under stress, we either stop breathing or we resort to shallow breathing. Anybody that's taken a yoga class will probably remember the yoga instructor saying, and don't forget to breathe. When our bodies are under stress, that lack of oxygen to our brain impairs our decision making, it impairs our memory, and it puts us under subject to greater stress. So breathe. I've given myself a 1 minute an hour breathing challenge. Now what does that mean? Well, it means that 1 minute every hour, I'm going to do purposeful, mindful breathing. What is purposeful, mindful breathing, you ask? Well, I think the best breathing that I found, and maybe you have breathing techniques of your own, but the best one I found is 4 counts of breathing in through your nostrils and 4 counts of exhaling through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts and breathe out through your mouth for 4 counts. Let's just try it once. You can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open. It's all up to you. If you have another breathing technique that works for you, work it. But understand that purposeful, mindful breathing, at least 1 minute an hour, will rebalance your brain and put you in a much better place for the next 59 minutes. Our next little brain lifter is to drink more water. Yeah, like the rest of our bodies, our brains are mostly water. Enough water and we become dehydrated, our thinking becomes cloudy, our memory leaves us, and we are again just subject to more of those stressors in our body. So just make sure you drink more water. Now you can say, Al, how do I know if I'm drinking more water if I don't know how much water I'm drinking right now? Simple test. Drink before you get thirsty. If you drink before you get thirsty, that's a great way of replenishing the fluids in your brain. When you're thirsty, it's like the low fuel indicator on your car lighting up. It's your brain saying, I'm running low and I'm almost out of water. I need hydration. But if you drink before you're thirsty, you're keeping yourself fully hydrated. So drink before you get thirsty. The next little brain lifter is don't be afraid to take a nap. Naps are powerful things. Sometimes we may struggle sleeping at night, but naps are not a sign of weakness. Naps are a sign of strength. When our brains lack sleep, and sleep is one of the best things we can give our brains, because when we sleep, it's like we provide fertilizer for our brains and we really clean them up and really get them going. So any of you gardeners out there, it's like fertilizing and weed killing, pulling out the weeds and putting in the fertilizer for your brain. That's what sleep does. And when we're sleep deprived and don't get enough sleep, we basically get frustrated easier. We lash out at people. We can't control our emotions. Our blood sugar and our body functions don't work right. All of the things that are inhibited because of a lack of sleep. However, naps can help reverse that. A nap doesn't have to be 2.5 hours in the afternoon on the couch, because that's wrong and that'll probably affect the sleep you're going to have the next evening. But what you can do is have a nap of 10 to 20 minutes. 10 to 20 minute nap will improve your thinking. NASA did a study of astronauts, and they found that on a 20-minute nap, the astronauts improved their cognitive problem-solving ability by over 30%. Just a 20-minute nap. Other research studies have shown that naps have improved our cognitive and decision-making ability and our thinking ability with naps as short as 10 minutes. So set your alarm. You don't want to go into a deep sleep for an hour or more, but a 10 to 20 minute nap will be a great refresher during the day. Don't be afraid of that nap. The last brain lifter I'm going to give you may be the silliest one, but it's very important. Laugh. Laugh for at least 5 minutes a day. They say laughter is the best medicine. Well, it's true. If you can find a way to laugh for 5 minutes a day, that's a very powerful, potent way to really refresh your brain and release some of that much needed dopamine and those good feeling brain chemicals. What makes you laugh? Is it an old movie video clip you can find on YouTube, or something silly you can do with your kids? Just find a way to laugh, or at least smile for 5 minutes a day. The simple act of smiling releases dopamine. Laugh for 5 minutes a day, or at least smile as much as you can. As for a summary of what we said, number 1, label your emotions. Very, very powerful way to really get control of ourselves. Really trying to put a specific word and think about how we are feeling right now. Getting our thinking process re-engaged and dampening our emotional process. The second way, mindful, purposeful breathing. Maybe as I'm challenging myself, at 1 minute an hour, that will help. The third way, drink more water than you're drinking now. That hydration is much needed for your brain. Number 4, don't be afraid to take a nap. Naps are powerful stuff. And number 5, laugh for at least 5 minutes a day. Well, there you have it. 5 suggestions that we can take on to put ourselves better in control. Hopefully these suggestions, at least one of them, will help you cope in some little way while we're staying healthy at home. So until next time,